Hello, and welcome to the first workshop of Hardcore Entrepreneur 5.0. I'm really happy to be here. I'm really happy to see all the participants that are watching either from YouTube or that are participating actively in this session. My name is Robert. I'm the founder of Punctul IT and also one of the people who really loved the idea of a hackathon that would help young people really put their ideas to work. It's not going to be a very long introduction from me because our speakers today are really valuable, and they are going to tell you all the things that they know. And I mean, maybe not all of the things that they know, but some of the things that they know and that they feel that you will be inspired by. So for the digital entrepreneurship workshop today, we have Cristian Mustață, which is an associate professor at the Faculty of Engineering in foreign languages from Polytehnica București. We also have Constantin Ghioc, which is a software architect at Lenovo. And also we have Evelyn Deboranuță, who is the founder of Colabrix, software engineer and Forbes 30 Under 30. We are really happy to have them here and really just pick their brain on all the things that they know. They will have some presentations that will tell you things that you will need to know about the Hardcore Entrepreneur 5.0 contest, and also some of the things that you will apply to your real life business, when you will start it, or if you already started it, then you can apply it also. And in the end, you will have the possibility of asking some questions. So feel free to either write them down as they come up. So it's an easier communication at the end with the questions. Okay, thank you very much. And guys, you have the virtual microphones.
Thank you, Robert. I'm very happy to begin this workshop done together with my colleagues Constantin and Debbie. I will share my screen. One moment. Is it transmitted? You can also see
yes,
the PowerPoint? Okay. I sent greetings to all participants. We are happy to have young minds here engaged in Hardcore Entrepreneur. And something short about me, so you know who you are talking to. My name is Cristian Mustață. I'm 49. I have a nice family, 2 wonderful daughters, 10 and 7. So my kids are pretty young, younger than the participants here. I teach marketing, technology, entrepreneurship for more than 25 years here in Polytehnica, basically in German and in English. I did a PhD in engineering and management with a German professor, Professor Günther Specht from the Technical University of Darmstadt. So I work in, let's say, this German model with a strong infusion of Romanian culture, of course. And I believe we are here to evolve, to learn how to be deeply happy. And hopefully this contest and this workshop have a small contribution of inspiration or of knowledge or of abilities, competencies to bring everybody closer to their happiness. So you see what I have passions about: personal development, sustainable way of life, ethical intelligence. There is something like ethical intelligence. Intelligence is not only what we measure in IQ. Maybe you read that there is emotional intelligence and intelligence of all sorts. And one of the dimensions is the ethical one. I'm creativity trainer also. I like informal communication, strategic games, business simulation, hiking, football. That's me. But enough of me. Let's go to the content. Why are we here will be a first question to answer. Then we'll talk about a competitive advantage that a business must have. So if you make an app, for example, you need to know why should people download my app when there are more than 1,000 apps there. What is my advantage, my special thing, yes? Then we will talk about product, price, promotion, and placement. This is the classical marketing mix, the 4P. How does it look like for an app? Yes, and of course, this is, let's say, is my part, but then the very important part is done by my colleagues, Constantin and Debbie, who will tell you more practical details, shared experience, and at the end, all three of us will be very happy to come in dialogue with you, to answer questions, comments, and so on. Okay, so why are we here? If you program an app, if you make an app, you have some huge potential in this digital market because anybody in any corner of the world could download your app. Might be a person in the United States, in India, in China, in Australia, or I don't know where, of course, also in Romania. So there are certain advantages to have an app. You can address the whole market, but the challenges are you also have the whole worldwide competition. Yes, your app will be one of many thousands or of many hundred thousands. And the chances that it gets lost in the myriad of other apps and you don't gain anything from it are huge. So this is why we are here to see how do we take the advantages and master the challenges to have a chance to do something with our app if it's really good. This is why we talk about this competitive advantage. Your app should have some advantages, and these advantages where all companies rely on, be it Google, Apple, or a small Romanian company, they all can scale if they have such a competitive advantage. And yeah, this is about what makes my products different, why are they special, what are the special benefits of the customer users. And this can rely on either effectiveness. Being effective means doing exactly that, what the customer needs. Yes. For example, a tailored suit done exactly on your measures is more effective than a standard suit that is produced without your measures, and you find it and you say, it's close to me, it's okay, I buy it. Yes. Effectiveness. So getting the most benefits for the customer. And the other dimension is efficiency. How efficient is my product done? And this will influence the costs, and the costs influence the price. And of course, we can offer our customers also a price advantage. Some people buy, for example, fuel based on efficiency. They buy the cheapest. They go only, if Petrom is the cheapest, they go only there or to another company, while others buy same fuel, actually different fuel based on effectiveness. If they believe that a special fuel, I don't know, extra makes their car happier and better, they will buy the more expensive fuel, but thinking about effectiveness. Of course, in the meantime, fuel is not such a good example because we can fuel our cars with energy, with electrical energy directly. But here also, is it more efficient? What do I pay for the electricity I put in my car? And if I add also the price of the car and so on. So both dimensions are important. And you see here relative effectiveness, relative efficiency. We compare these things. With whom do you think? With the competition, of course. So we compare our offer with offers of our competitors, usually of our best competitors. And if we have a plus, we are more effective or more efficient than them, then we have these advantages. An efficiency advantage makes us in the position of cost advantage. An effectiveness advantage brings us of net performance advantage. Our products do better things to the customer. In the other case, they are cheaper. And if we manage to combine both, our products are also better and also cheaper, then we have an absolute competitive advantage. This would be ideal, but it's not always possible. What we should avoid is to have an absolute disadvantage. We are less efficient, less effective, then we cannot scale our business. It will remain more or less small forever. This being said, we go to the 4P. So now that was the philosophy behind the thing. And now we have 4 elements to think about. Our product, in this case, it's an app. Maybe some people program an app that is a game. Others program an app for productivity or for health, etc. But the same questions we need to ask ourselves while we are developing the app. For which group is this product? Who should benefit from it? What are the needs of exactly this group? What are their alternatives, the competition? How do they satisfy this need at the present moment before our app is on the market? Because from these questions, if we find the answers, we can learn to make a better app, an app that is better to satisfy the needs of these customers than the alternatives on the market. And of course, to make this product better and more attractive, we offer some functions. Our app should do something. And we have this aesthetic part, the design. Both are important. A well-functioning, let's say, game that doesn't look good will not convince people, and a very nice game that is lame will also not do the trick. So we need to combine functions to answer the needs that we thought about, and then design to be desirable, nice to the customer. So this would be the product. Then the next idea is the price. Because a lot of people have good ideas, they make apps, and then they say, yes, but I cannot live from this. I cannot get rich. I did a nice thing, but I must offer it for free or nobody use it. It might be true or it might not be true. The two basic pricing things, while we are small and we have only one thing to offer, is a cost per download, yes, delivering a complete product for a defined price, or maybe we split this cost to make an abo. They pay smaller amounts each month, but it's the same thing. They pay to use it and they have the complete version in this money. Or the other version is a freemium product. We offer it for free for a limited time, for example. And then if they like it, they must pay to have it unlimited. Or we offer it for free forever, so unlimited time, but then we should have some components to bring money. And the money we can get from premium elements in the app. Yes, you have the basic functionality that should be good enough, so the people try it, use it, like it, and then we offer them much better things, premium, either for paying something or small things for watching ads, and we win through advertising. Yes, or the time was limited for a trial and then they need to pay the price. This freemium strategy is actually the only chance for unknown programmers and unknown products and unknown companies. So if we start, if we don't offer it for free, if we charge from the beginning, we need a lot of advertising with huge budgets that we usually don't have. So our chance is to offer it free, to convince, and then to make money with advertising or with special features that are offered additionally. It's also your chance, this strategy, to offer it with a freemium version. Now the promotion, how do we get, how do we promote, where do we promote? It doesn't matter what kind of promotion we do, we must be there where our customers are. And if we manage to have some viral marketing elements, I don't know, some jokes that are related to our product, or some really shocking in a positive way things, then people might be there and try it. Yes, if we are not launching our information elements and promotion elements there where the customers can reach them, then we don't exist. And then the placement, of course, what is good for a mobile app is that there are this Google Play and App Store, etc. And this is in the beginning, while we are small, our biggest chance to offer our products there for Android, Google Play, for iPhones and stuff on App Store, etc. If the company is bigger, it can have some contracts with smartphone manufacturers, and then their app is integrated. So you buy a new Samsung and it has, I don't know, 3 games installed and one is yours. Super. But as a small company in the beginning, you will not have chances for this free integration in new phones. You must have a name to have a chance to get there. But even a small app from a, let's say, a beginner, a good beginner, can find a place on Google Play or on App Store and so on. So this is your placement. Okay, so what is our takeaway from this part of the story? Yes, we have to think about what makes our product special. Yes, how is it differentiating from the competition, through which functions, and also we don't have to neglect design. Design must be appealing, and design also can make a difference. Then with our pricing, we should have an option to offer it for free, but then to also gain some money on it with advertising, with premium features, and so on. we should think about some noise, positive noise, related to our app in the media where our customers are, where our target group interacts. And as a placement for a mobile app, we should think if we can offer versions for Android and also for iOS to be present in the Google Play and in the App Store. This would be, so let's say, an essence from what I just presented. Of course, if you have live questions, it could be now, but we have a Q&A session at the end of this workshop. So after all three speakers and their inputs. And if somebody has an idea, but later, tomorrow, or I don't know, in 1 week, you can also contact me at cristianmustata@yahoo.com or on the phone or WhatsApp at the number there, 072444597. And I will gladly answer your questions. Now, while this part is, let's say, over, enough theory, we have some very interesting real experiences from Konstantin and Debbie. So I will stop my sharing screen. I see no question in the chat. I think we will leave then. Anybody wants to ask a question now, live? If not, I give the floor to Konstantin, so you will see from him and later from Debbie something more practical. Thank you, Konstantin. The floor is yours.
Thank you, Christine. Okay. So, hello, everyone. My name is Konstantin, and happy to present to you today a talk about 8 core concepts for digital entrepreneurs. A little about me. I started my IT career as a one-man show in very, very small companies. And then over time, I made my transition to be an IT expert in pretty large companies. I had a very long professional life as an employee, and I've taken a lot of roles in this time, like system administrator, team lead, IT manager, or IT or software architect. And one way or another, I had contact with a lot of IT areas. I touched artificial intelligence, public cloud, networking, security, mobile device management, project management, programming, a lot of programming, probably a few other which I already forgot about. My current role is in Lenovo, and I'm part of research and development department. I'm helping Lenovo to build software for our customers, which they use to manage hardware at a large scale. I'm actively involved in researching new technologies in our field of interest. For the Star Trek fans, we are saying that we aim to go where no one has gone before. So this is the research part of it. As part of this work, I currently have several pending patents filed with US Patent and Trademark Office. I also have a journey as an entrepreneur. This was a significant part of my life. I've been providing consulting services on enterprise infrastructure, and also with a little focus on IT security. The difference between being an employee and being an entrepreneur is that when you are an entrepreneur, you wear a multitude of hats. And many times I was in the same day CEO, I was dealing with financial issues, I was a project manager, I was legal advisor, sometimes junior accountant. And another side of me, on community side, I'm involved with VMware User Group Romania. It's a very interesting opportunity for me to share my knowledge and experience with others. And also tonight, me being here is also part of my idea of giving back to the community. So I have a professional, diverse background in the IT industry. I've seen a lot of roles, people, companies. I do have a background in entrepreneurship. I do have some leadership community experience. So I think I developed a wide range of skills, knowledge, expertise. I'm happy to share with you tonight some of these concepts. So that's the agenda for me tonight. Usually, when I talk with young people like you are, which are at the beginning of a journey in entrepreneurship, they usually talk a lot about what programming tool they used, what makes their UI design special, what technical difficulties they encountered in their journey. And that's expected because most of them, they have a background as programmers. They are very good technical people. They do know their stuff. But being an entrepreneur is more than being good at IT. This is where many of the young startups struggle. So today I'll scratch the surface on some concepts, and I'll cover some concepts about personal branding, about leadership, about how to fail fast. I have an interesting acronym here. It's called VUCA. At least it's going to be interesting. I'll talk about how to sell your product, how to do customer validation, how to deal with digital marketing, and a little about financial management. So what is digital entrepreneurship? My opinion, that's the use of digital technologies to create, to innovate, to grow new businesses. And with the rise of the internet, social media, mobile devices, everything is accessible to anyone. It's so easy to start your own business, exactly like Christy said before. So the entry barrier is quite low. You don't need a lot of investment to open a digital company. You can work from anywhere. You can sell to anywhere, and it's important to allow yourself time for to have innovation, to have experimentation, do quick tests, and try to have new products, new services faster. So that's a very important concept. That's flexibility and autonomy for digital entrepreneurship. You can work from anywhere, you can manage your own schedule, but do not confuse flexibility with how much work is going to be performed, because in many cases, entrepreneurs work more hours per week than an employee. I'll move to personal branding, which may seem odd because personal branding is about you, me, is about us as persons, and we're talking about digital companies here. So when you embark in a small entrepreneurship adventure, the image of the startup is often the image of the founders. I mean, there's nothing else in a startup except for the founders. So this is why personal branding of us as persons can help our small companies with credibility and with increased visibility. So you need to start with steps like defining what is your brand, which are your values, mission, vision, what is unique about you, what makes you the pink cow. This is I don't know, something that I like to imagine when I talk with young people. When you have a lot of cows, if there is one pink cow, that will raise your interest. So try to be the pink cow. You need to have a strategy for how you're going to build your personal brand. You need to set for you some goals, some target audience, which is going to be the message that you want to bring and where you want to share your message. And if you share across multiple platforms like on Facebook, LinkedIn, and TikTok, make sure that your brand image is consistent, is the same across all platforms that you're going to use. Last point here, build relationships with others in your industry. Talk with people, try networking, collaboration, any type of partnership that you can go on. If you take one idea from my talk, this is the idea. You need to grow your network, and this will help you later in many ways that you can imagine today. Moving to leadership, but what is leadership? Leadership is not management. So leadership is an ability to inspire, is an ability to motivate, to guide others towards a common goal. And it's a very critical soft skill for success for a digital entrepreneur, because the founder of a startup needs to be able to lead people involved in a startup towards success. Leadership is mainly about building relationships. It's about building trust and respect with everybody that works with you. And a good leader needs to communicate with the team, with all the members from the team. And they need to create a shared idea of direction. Everyone must go into the same direction to the final goal. Other thing that it's important for a leader is the ability to listen. So listening to concerns, ideas, suggestions coming from team members, everything in this direction of listening will help you make better decisions based on all the feedback that you got from the team, but it will also help you build stronger relationships. You also need to lead by example. A leader must exhibit positive behavior, an attitude that can inspire the team members to do the same. So do not, instead of concentrating on what the problem is, concentrate on how we can solve the problem and how that problem can become our opportunity. Provide direction, of course, is important. If we have a team and half of them are going left, half are going right, that's going to make probably no sense on longer term. So about decision, that's also an important point here. A leader will have to make decisions. Some of them will be hard, some of them will be unpleasant, and sometimes we will feel the need to delay our decision, but think that taking no decision is still a decision. And if you want to learn more about leadership, you can follow people like Simon Sinek, Steve Bartlett, very interesting content that they have. Funny acronym. That means VUCA means volatility, uncertainty, complexity, ambiguity. It's used in business and military context. Volatility, that's about the speed and rate of change in the market. We can see sudden, unpredictable fluctuations in market conditions, in consumer behavior. A lot of factors that will impact our operation. Just an example, last few years, we saw a pandemic, we saw a war in Europe near our border, we saw increased inflation all over Europe. What we'll see next year, we don't know. Uncertainty is due to the lack of predictability. There is no certainty in business environments. We'll have changes in technology, customer preferences will change from a period to another period. We'll have geopolitical events like wars near us, and a lot of factors which will impact our plans. Complexity, this comes from the increasing number of stakeholders, regulations, global economic conditions that will also impact our business. Ambiguity is about the lack of clarity, the lack of understanding of a situation or a problem. So new business models, new market ideas, like it was in the past public cloud, like it is AI today. All of these changes will lead to an ambiguity in our trends, in market trends, in customers' behavior. And there is a saying in military environments, because I mentioned that FUCA is also known in military environments. The saying is, no plan survives contact with the enemy. So we do have a volatile, uncertain, complex, ambiguous environment, but we still need to have a plan in place. It's also important for us to be prepared to adjust the plan when the market will change. It's not a question of if the market will change. The market will change, so we will need to adjust our plans. This is a topic dear to my heart. This used to be something which, in a discussion in Romania, will be immediately dismissed, because we are raised to be the best in everything we do. That's not possible in real life. We will be good at something, we will be average at something else. Probably we will be bad at some of the things that we do not or we can't do. Let's imagine for a moment that our product, our startup, failed. This means we as a person failed. But no, this is wrong. This is very wrong. And what we must do when we will fail, because everybody fails in life at some point. So when we fail, we need to treat the failure like an opportunity. So this is not the end of the road. It's an opportunity to learn. It's an opportunity to switch to a new approach. And what fail fast means that all of the ideas, they should be tested fast. And if it's not working, switch to something else. Instead of spending years of perfecting an idea before launching and then failing because nobody is going to purchase it, start small, test your concept with beta customers. You can learn from their feedback and make some improvements before scaling up your application. And the problem is that if you invest too much time, too much money, or other type of resources into an idea that will fail, it will be very hard to let it go and move to something else. So if we recognize early that we failed and move to somewhere else, we will not have this problem of sinking a lot of time, money, other resources. Startup, digital entrepreneurship, this is about innovation. It's always about finding something new, a new product, some type of creativity, but this also means taking risks. There is no risk there is no innovation without risk. Sometimes those risks, they will not pay off. So we will fail when we will take risks when we try innovation. But that's something that you need to live it. You need to embrace risk, because without risks, there is no entrepreneurship. You need to be comfortable with taking risks. Customer validation, Christy talked a little about that earlier. I will just add some points here. So maybe you start with a hypothesis. You define your business idea. You make some assumptions about your target market. And this is a starting point for your customer validation efforts. So identify your target customers, use social media, online forums, then reach out to your target customers and ask for their feedback. You might be surprised of what you find out. And in the end, this is a little related with fail fast. Create a minimum viable product, build a simple version, and test it with customers. Use their feedback, refine, improve, or move to something else. For me, I heard many times a phrase which says, build it and they will come. And behind that, that's the idea that I will create the best product in the market and the customers will just flow and will buy it and all my problems will be solved. But the reality is not like that. The reality is that you need to sell your product. You need to market your product to attract customers. So you need to think at this from the beginning. You need to think, how will you market your product? How these ideas will change the architecture of your product. Like Christy said, maybe you will have ads. That will be to something which you need to include in the architecture of your apps. Some means of connecting to a provider for those ads, and I don't know, do something. Your brand is important. So after you build your personal brand, now it's time to build your app brand. You need to invest time. Probably you'll need to invest some money as well to build a brand. Strong online presence. I think that's obvious. It's we're living in a digital age. Having a strong online presence is crucial. You need a site. You need a social media accounts. You need solid search engine optimization strategy. And of course, because we live in a VUCA environment, you need to evaluate, adjust, and change your strategy as the market demands. A little more about digital marketing. So I mentioned your website. That's often the first point of contact for your customers. Well designed, easy to navigate, and optimized for search engines, where search engine optimization techniques come here, and that means a process to rank higher in search engine results pages. When you're searching something on Google, on Bing, how often do you go to the second page? 1 time, 2 times? How many of you do you go to the 9th page? Probably nobody, because there are hundreds of thousands of websites, everybody competing for same key phrase. Target is first page, maybe second page. If you're not there, you do not exist. Social media platforms, Facebook, X, Instagram, LinkedIn, TikTok, all of them, they have powerful tools for building brand awareness. And all of this will require some sort of money, so we'll move to financing. Crucial aspect, final management for running a successful business. It's important to understand how to manage your finances. And first part of financial good practice is to create a budget. Budget is an estimation of your incomes and your expenses. You should include all expenses, marketing costs, rent, technology expenses like cloud charges, employee salaries. Every expense must be included here. Of course, a budget is an estimation. Nobody today can do a 100% accurate estimation, but this is an exercise which you will need to do year by year, create more realistic budgets. Cash flow is also something important. I would say that in Romania, everybody is looking to profit, but not everybody is looking at cash flow management. This is about how the money moves in and out of the business. Being profitable is not the same as having cash flow positive, because you can have invoices sent to your customers and they are not being paid for 6 months and you don't have enough money to pay for your expenses. Accounting, tax management, very important in a business. You need to understand your tax obligations. You need to comply with all tax laws, with regulations. And accounting is kind of boring, but it can have big costs later. So choose your accountant wisely. Financial reporting. This is related to accounting, but is not accounting. That's when you review your financial statements, your balance sheets, your cash flow statements, in order for you to understand your revenue, your expenses, your cash flow, and to do informed decisions about your businesses. Maybe you need to adjust your budget, and maybe you need to move some money from promotion to increased rent. I don't know. I'm approaching the end of my allocated time, so conclusion. It's a complex approach. So digital entrepreneurship is not simple. There are a lot of things to take into consideration, from personal branding to financial management. You need to be an effective leader. You need to be able to make effective decisions in an environment where everything is volatile, everything is changing, all the relationships are complex. But you also need to know your customer. You need to understand what your customer wants, and then you need to sell your product. And failing fast, very important. Do not sink a lot of costs in an idea that doesn't have traction to customers. Take care of your digital marketing. Take care of your financial management. Pay your taxes. And I just scratched the surface here for all these topics. I encourage all of you who wants to take a serious step into digital entrepreneurship. I encourage all of you to read more on these topics. The people that I mentioned earlier, Simon Sinek, Steve Bartlett, these are very good starting points. You can search on them on YouTube, on any podcast platform that you use. And that is my time today. And now I'd like to move to our last speaker from tonight. And we'll have Debbie with her personal journey of a young startup founder. So Debbie, all yours.
Thanks a lot, Constantin. Okay, I'll share my screen. Okay, let's see if I have it here. There we go. And there. Does everyone see my screen properly?
Yes.
Perfect. Okay, so I'll tell you a bit about my journey as a founder of Collabrix, which is an education technology startup, and where it all started. First, a bit about me. My name is Evelina de Boranuță. but everyone calls me Debbie. I'm 28 years old, and I'm from Sibiu, Romania. I moved away from home about 10 years ago because I went to do my bachelor studies, where I studied business and computer science in Vienna, Oslo, and then later on in Paris, where I had my master's degree as well. And I ended up settling down in Oslo, where I work as a software engineer. But on the side, I'm also an entrepreneur and youth activist. Some of my passions include snowboarding, rock climbing, and songwriting. And the name of my company is Collabrix, and I'm the founder and CEO there. So a bit about Collabrix. What do? We are an education technology startup. And through our platform, we help professors, educators, teachers create engaging learning experiences for their students. What does this mean? We help teachers to use AI and collaborative frameworks and interactive visual elements to get the attention from students and to give them a more exciting learning experience. And we do this through different features we have in our product, which is a digital platform, like collaborative features, custom templates, AI assistants, and instant feedback from students. So what was the journey like to build this entire startup? Well, it all started in 2022 in June when I was in Paris about less than 3 years ago. And while I was there, I was attending some entrepreneurship seminars just as a hobby, because I was curious about entrepreneurship and what it meant, and I wanted to learn more about it. As I was attending these seminars and learning about what a business is, what an elevator pitch is, and all that, I started believing more and more in the fact that I would like to do something for myself in the future as well, and I would like the idea of being an entrepreneur. So that's when I had the first idea of Collabrix, because I realized I wanted to do something to help my community, and I have teachers in my family. 2 of my sisters are teachers, so I would get to experience their problems firsthand when I would see them stay up late creating courses for their students, and that's how the idea came to me. So what I did when I got the idea is that I joined an incubator, which is basically like some kind of coaching program for aspiring entrepreneurs to get advice for their startup from more mentors and experienced people from the business sector and from the entrepreneurship sphere, and to get some kind of coaching on how to start the startup. And after that, I also applied to some other international entrepreneurship boot camps, just kind of like Hardcore Entrepreneur, but it was called Unleash. So that was a different program. And further along the way, I managed to win these competitions and get some small funding amounts and some access to some really good tools to take the startup further. So after getting selected for the entrepreneurship bootcamp, I got a full scholarship to go all the way to India, where I got the chance to learn about human-centric design, which is one of the foundations of what helped me to build my startup and to understand how to research a real problem in the community and build a product that is actually suitable for the needs of my users. And I got also the opportunity to meet a lot of young, very inspiring and engaged young people that wanted to make the world a better place through entrepreneurship and start their own startups. So we were 1,000 people from all over the world in India for a week, trying to create the solutions for the Sustainable Development Goals, which is basically the 17 goals the United Nations made in order to help us create a better world. Yeah, and after coming back from India with a heart full of inspiration and drive, I decided to go to Romania and start talking to teachers and start showing them my prototype and what I had built, and basically get their input on all the ideas I had, and getting input on whether or not I'm helping them in the right way that's good for them. And through this process, we ended up talking to different teachers from different domains. Initially we started from, because we just knew that we wanted to help teachers, right? We didn't know how to help them, which were the best users for us. We started talking to high school teachers, to middle school teachers. We also went to university teachers, and then we ended up finding the niche of teachers which we actually had the ability to help, because in some cases, teachers can't use their own made courses because the government or the Minister of Education dictates exactly what they need to use. So we realized we want to focus on university teachers because they had full autonomy on the way they structure their courses, and they had the possibility to make their courses from scratch. So that's where we identified, okay, that's a gap in the market that we want to try to fill, and that those are the teachers that can actually use our tool. So that was super helpful. And in this whole process, we also got through 4 iterations of our prototype, because each time we were going back to teachers, they're saying, okay, this is helpful, but maybe this other thing, we don't need it. So you got to think about a different way to solve this. So we really fine-tuned our prototype, and that really helped us, because we were, at the same time as we were doing this iterative process of ensuring that we're catering to the needs of professors, we were in a thing called an accelerator, which I don't know if you're familiar with, but in the startup world, an accelerator is basically the next stage of where a startup goes to in order to get even more advice from mentors and experts on how to best build their product, and how to like really get their pitch to a very good level. So we were 6 months in an accelerator program called Unleash Plus. And at the final stage, we got to go to Kigali, Rwanda, because we were among the 25 best teams. So they paid for our tickets and our food and our accommodation. And we got to go and pitch to a panel in Dragon's Den to a bunch of experts and investors. And that gave us so many great learnings as well. Yeah. So here you see some pictures of what it was like. It was a really great opportunity to learn from not only mentors and experts, but also from other startups that were in the same field as us. Like everybody that was in quality education, which is SDG number 4 from the global goals. We got to really expand our network and help each other learn from each other's experiences, and that was a super great opportunity. Which leads us to kind of the last part of the journey, or the more later stage, where you will notice that once you work hard for a decent amount of time, and you grow your network and you grow your personal brand, and you keep doing what you love and keep helping your users, people will start to notice. And that's when I realized that it was very meaningful for me to get the opportunity to talk on stage at the NATO Youth Summit, where I was selected to present a comic book I made about cybersecurity and AI, which was inspired from the whole journey of Collabrix, and that was a really great experience. Because I got to meet a lot of other very dedicated young people that were also very engaged in cybersecurity and education. And the comic book was more of something we're looking at in Collabrix on how to make education more engaging. And what better way to make education more engaging than with something that is fun and playful and creative. So that was really great that I got to talk about that on stage and inspire a lot of other young people, which led to me getting another opportunity to go and make a video for NATO during their public forum they had a few months later that year. And I got to attend the NATO summit, which was the 75-year anniversary. And the Alliance, and that was a really cool opportunity as well. And then later in the year, I got nominated for Forbes 30 Under 30 Romania, which is also a super great honor, which I'm very grateful about. And all of these kind of opportunities just came like a whirlwind that I wasn't really expecting them. But the fact that I was so much involved also in my community, and I volunteer for a nonprofit organization that helps startups and young people create sustainable solutions, it kind of just put me on a track for finding out about more of these opportunities and getting selected for them. So yeah, if I were to summarize very shortly, some challenges we had along the way was that we needed to constantly change our solution because some parts made no sense for our users, and that's okay. Like, you're not gonna always know the best solution for your users. You need to empathize with them, you need to get to know their problem really well, and you need to understand what their root problem is. And then you're gonna really create a product that your users love. In addition to this, you have to always remember to find a good work-life balance, which is super important. Don't work super late nights every day. Don't work all the weekends. It's important to find a work-life balance. Otherwise, you're gonna lose the energy to do something that's really meaningful for you and for other people. And also, entrepreneurship is really cool and it's fun to have a startup, but there's also some things that are maybe not so fun that goes into making a startup, like financial reporting, structuring roles, all these things that are like very important to have a healthy startup, and you have to do them as well. So it's just, you got to take the exciting parts with the practical parts as well. And another thing, the last thing that I really want to stress is that you have to make sure that whatever you do, you keep moving forward, instead of being blocked in the details and overthinking and being stuck. So make sure that you find a fine balance between very detail-oriented thinking and also making sure you have a healthy progression and you're moving forward. And what we learned is that it's super important to just start and get things done. Avoid perfectionism. There will never be a best time in life to start a startup. Like, for me, at least, I was also doing it at the same time as my job. If I would have just kept it as an idea on a piece of paper that I wasn't ready for, I would have never gotten as far as I did 3 years later, right? So yeah, that's important. And balance between planning and doing. Make sure you don't over-plan and you also start doing. And you think about, like, what's the easiest way that I can do this that brings the most value to my users with the least amount of effort for me. So always try to make sure that you keep in mind that your own resources and your time is a finite resource, so you have to use them wisely. Remember to do the fun parts as well. So incorporate what's meaningful and long-term with the urgent tasks that need to be done. And always, it's okay to ask for advice. Make sure you find someone that inspires you and you ask them to be your mentor. In my case, I found a really amazing and inspiring mentor during one of my labs, during the Global Innovation Lab in India. And he was a guy that was Romanian, and I think he was working for, he also had some startup. And he gave me so much useful advice and programs I could join and fellowships that I should look and apply to. So super important to have mentors. And it's okay to ask people to be a mentor, even if you think that, oh, they're busy, or people that have startups or that have gone to a place in their career where they're in a more prominent position, they were also helped along the way. And I think, at least speaking from my own personal view, like, I love it when people ask me for help. I love if I can help others, because it takes a village to create a startup. It takes a village to create something so meaningful. And that village is of all these people that care about each other and want to help each other. So just go out there and ask for somebody that inspires you to be your mentor. Surround yourself with other entrepreneurs. Talk to other entrepreneurs. You have a lot of things in common, and it's so much easier to help each other. and join international programs if you can, because it gives you a lot of great opportunities to learn. It gives you a different way of seeing things. It helps you expand your network and your contacts, maybe in the States. Maybe you're going to have, I don't know, you're going to expand in the States one day. And it really helps you grow. Like for me, this past year, I've had the privilege to go to the United States for 2 months, where I was working on a fellowship with the United States government. And I was working together with a university professor in Colorado and Denver, and that helped us so much. And also the international programs at Unleash, which is this nonprofit organization that helps early stage startups and young people create sustainable projects for the planet. Yeah, I learned so much through these programs. So really, really important to take a leap of faith and put yourself out there, even though it might be scary to go out of your comfort zone and out of your country. Yep. So last but not least, a tiny list of tools and frameworks. I mean, just 3 things that helped me that I put here for you. But before I dive into those, I wanted to make sure that everybody knows what SDGs are, because I'll be talking a bit about them. You probably know what they are, but I'm just going to do a little refresher in case anybody needs one. So the SDGs are the Sustainable Development Goals, and they're basically 17 really big goals that aim to make the world a better place. They aim to end poverty, help people to get better jobs, improve health and education, and protect the environment. And they remind us that we need to grow in a way that is fair, safe, and good for both people and planet. So they were created in 2012 by the United Nations. And you can think about the SDGs like a to-do list or a checklist for creating a better world by 2030, and like how we can get there. So it's basically just a list of 17 major goals so that we, all people, can create a better world together with our governments, institutions, and businesses, and get to no poverty, no hunger, have a better health system, have a better educational system, where gender equality thrives, and where we have an environment that's safe and prosperous. Yeah. Okay, so now that we cover that, I'm going to tell you a bit about human-centric design, which is something that was extremely important for me as I was emerging on my journey as an entrepreneur, and it's something I learned about through Unleash. If you want to check them out, it's called unleash.org. It's an organization that helps people like you, young people, and early stage startups to create projects for the Sustainable Development Goals, meaning that they help you have innovation process or an entrepreneurial process in which you help reach the Sustainable Development Goals through a methodology which is called human-centric design. And what this actually means is that when you approach a problem and you want to solve a problem in your community, you should first start by framing that problem. And how do you do that? You ask yourself, you make a problem tree, and you ask yourself, what am I trying to solve? I'm trying to solve the fact that teachers, for example, get burned out because they have to use a lot of their free time creating courses. Okay, but why is that? Well, they don't have access to tools all the time. They have like these super crammed up curriculums where they have to go through a lot of material. And then you ask yourself, okay, but why is that? And the way you find out the answers and you find out how to best build a product that's targeted for like a specific niche in your community is by actually talking to the people in that community. Just book a meeting with them, call them, go and talk to them. It can be even just 5 minutes, but find out about their problem and be very curious and always ask the why and go deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper until you find the root of why that problem is happening and try to fix that root problem. Don't stay on the superficial side of the problem. And once you've reached this phase and you think, okay, my problem is detailed enough, it's niche enough, it's concrete enough that it's like actionable. So it's actually, it sounds like it's more easier for me to solve this problem because it's very concrete. When you reach that stage, then you can move on to the next stage, which is the ideation phase, which is basically where you come up with a bunch of really creative solutions. You can just put a timer and you can write down 100 solutions, or I don't know, 20 of how best to solve that problem. And once you then look over all the solutions you have in the creative process and you see, okay, which one's the easiest one to make that brings the most value to my users, then you decide, okay, this is what I'm going to probably go for. This is something that I can actually do. And you take that solution and you say, okay, how can I test to make sure that this would actually work for users? How can I translate this idea of a solution into something that users can really understand how it works? It can be through a little sketch on a piece of paper. It can be through a low-code website, for example. It can be through, I don't know, something you make in Photoshop or something you do in Paint. Something that basically shows the user, okay, this is the idea of what I'm actually trying to build. And you go and you take 5 users and you show it to them and you get validation on, oh yeah, that's a great idea. I would so use this. This would make my day 10 times easier. And then once you actually get that validation from the testing you do with the users, then you can start really using time to implement it. But what I would definitely advise you is to never start building code for a product you're trying to make without showing it at least to 5 users and trying to sketch it out on a piece of paper or in some kind of digital tool before that. Like, you got to work smart. You know, I mean, working hard is obviously good, but try to work smart so that you don't have to work hard tirelessly. That's what I'm trying to kind of say. Yeah. So this was a super useful tool for me. And this is something I learned about through Unleash, through the Global Innovation Lab, where they taught us about human-centric design and entrepreneurship. And I would really encourage you to go on their website. It's called unleash.org, and subscribe to their newsletter. In the QA session, if anybody's interested, I can show you exactly where to subscribe. And also follow them on Instagram, because if they're doing global innovation labs once a year, usually, and you can apply for the global innovation lab, and then they pay for your flights, for your tickets, for all costs included, for you to actually go and attend these entrepreneurship boot camps. And there you actually learn so much about entrepreneurship, and you can actually have a team, and it's basically a simulation of what it would be like to build a startup in a week. So for me, this has been super useful, and I really tell everybody to check them out and to apply and to follow them and to apply to their global innovation labs when they do them, because they are super inspiring and really useful. Yes. Yeah. And basically, after you go through that human-centered design process, make sure you put your idea on a piece of paper so that it actually makes sense. So fill out a business model canvas, which is basically the blueprint of what you're trying to build, and fill out how your idea would work on paper so that you can explain it to anyone easily in 3 minutes. Okay, and this is how I make my money, and this is the problem I'm trying to solve, and these are the specific users I want to focus on, and this is how they pay for it, and this is how, basically start mapping exactly everything you want to do through your business into this business model canvas. Yes. And I think that was it. Yeah, pretty much, yeah. Thank you so much for your attention. I'm more than happy to answer any questions you have. And we'll be skipping to Q&A really soon. So if you have any questions or anything in particular that you're wondering about, we're super happy to to answer them. And thanks for your attention.
Thank you so much, Debbie. Thank you, Cristian. Thank you, Constantin. I am also an entrepreneur for a few years now, and I think I've learned quite a lot of few things from you guys. So thank you very much for your input. And it was really nice to actually hear your stories and your advices and just get in touch again with everything business. Okay, so I think now is the best time for any questions from the listeners. Maybe we can leave you a few seconds to think about your questions. Just raise your hands and ask the question, or type it in chat, or however you feel comfortable.
Can I suggest one small thing?
Sure.
Would it be okay for you guys to just turn on your video for like 1 minute, just so I can see your wonderful faces and say hi, if you want to? No pressure. I just remember.
It will be great for a photo, actually. So we could do that.
when we were in the 6-month accelerator program through Unleash Plus, we were a cohort of 45 startups. And in the beginning, everybody was always with their camera off. And then as we got to know each other better, everybody always started turning their cameras on, waving at each other. It was like a little family kind of vibe. It was really nice, you know, but obviously I think not everyone's such a fan of turning their video on.
But the good part is we actually have a question. So maybe until the people decide that they can turn their cameras on, we can listen to Clara's question.
Yes, Clara.
Yeah, hi. So, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. So I have a question for Debbie. First of all, I was really inspired by your story. I find it really interesting and yeah, overall really inspiring. So my question was, how did you know that your idea was worth developing? Like what made you realize that yes, this is something I want to invest time and money into?
Well, I think it kind of was like a snowball effect. In the beginning, it was like, oh, I want to be an entrepreneur, and what can I do to be an entrepreneur? And then I said, okay, something about education, because I'm passionate about education in Romania. And then I think the thing that made me realize that I actually really want to go into this idea and dedicate so much of my time to it is when I started talking to my sister's colleagues and all the teachers when I went to Romania. Because then I noticed that it's not a problem that's just hers, that it's like a huge thing, and it's so much bigger than I thought it was. And showing the prototype to the actual professors and showing them, okay, do you think this would help? Do you think... I actually had like a sketch, a Figma. I don't know if you know what Figma is, but Figma is basically like a tool that that designers use to kind of mock up how a product is going to look like before they actually build it. So I made a little mock-up in Figma and I showed it to a few teachers, and then I got to show it to the university dean of the Lucian Blaga University of Sibiu, and he's just told me something that I will never forget. He said, this is going to revolutionize the way we teach. It's going to save us so much time. When can we get this? And then I was like, okay, I struck gold. So I have to like invest more time in this, and I have to channel all my efforts into getting this thing to fly. So that's how I realized, like, when you realize that the problem is bigger and it's for a bigger part of the community, and you see that they actually see the value in it when you go and you show them exactly what you want to build, that's when you realize, okay, I have to focus more time on this. But you have to make sure that you talk to different users. Don't get don't get some kind of bias from maybe just getting like from one person and you're like, okay, this is good enough. You have to try to talk to different people. And I got positive feedback from a larger group of people. I think I talked with about 25 teachers. So that's when I said, okay, now we're good. Now we got to start going forward from here. Thanks for your
Thank
question,
you.
Clara. I hope it answers well enough.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you. What about other questions? Okay, I saw another hand.
So, all right, Devi, why did you want to be an entrepreneur? Like, what's the first memory that you have, that you think of when you were thinking of being an actual entrepreneur?
I think I realized that I wanted to be an entrepreneur when I stopped thinking about it as something that's so incredibly impossible to achieve. So whenever I was looking at TV at these big entrepreneurs and stuff, I was thinking, yeah, that's really cool, but it sounds like a fake reality. It sounds like something that I could never achieve. And even when I went to these entrepreneurship seminars and there was people that already had their own startups and they were talking in so much lingo and jargon that's like very entrepreneurial about, like, you know, the things that you always hear in the startup world and all the buzzwords, and I wouldn't understand anything, and I was like, there's no chance, but it sounds interesting. And the thing that actually made me realize that I wanted to become an entrepreneur was a story I heard from a girl in Mongolia when I was at the Global Innovation Lab in India. So this Global Innovation Lab basically brought 1,000 young people from all over the world so they can learn about what entrepreneurship is in the first place and what the Sustainable Development Goals are. And I remember on my first day, I was sitting and eating lunch, and next to me there was a girl from Mongolia. And she told me the story about how in Mongolia it's super cold in the winters and they have to rely a lot on burning coal to keep their homes warm. And that a lot of times is really bad for your health, and it can be bad for your lungs, especially for the lungs of children and newborn babies. And so she came up with this idea to use Mongolian sheep's wool to create an air purifier and to use that wool as a filter to create clean, to filter the air and make clean air for her little community in the village she was living in Mongolia. And because she's like a biochemical engineer. And I was so inspired by that. I was thinking like, wow, you know, if people in Mongolia, in like little remote villages, can do it. And then I heard like another story from a girl that was distributing healthcare products in slums in India, and somebody that was helping girls how to read in Vietnam. And then I was like, okay, wow. If these people that are from places with much more scarce resources than I am can do all these amazing things, then what's stopping me? Like, it's not something that's impossible. It's just basically demystifying the fact that being an entrepreneur is not all the buzzwords. It's not all the complicated things. It's just finding a problem in your community that you're passionate about solving, talking to the people you need to talk, and just staying consistent and working hard at like solving that problem. And that's when I started realizing I can be an entrepreneur as well, and I can help education in Romania, for example. So that's kind of how it started. It was just a very inspiring story I heard as well from some other girl.
Okay, that's really fun. I have another question. How do you organize your time as a CEO? Like, how it feels?
Oh, it's a lot of work, especially like now that I'm managing. Like, I'm also having a full-time job while I'm doing my startup. So you have to be a wizard of Google Calendar, Outlook, Notion, all these productivity tools in order to make sure you have your goals in check, and that you have timeline for it, and you have deadlines, and that you have reminders. So for me, I heavily rely on Notion. I don't know if you know it. It's like a really cool, neat tool that is a place where I keep all my notes and all the things I have to do, and I plan everything. And that really helps me to stay on track with everything I have to do. I have time blocks in my schedule where I look at the beginning of the week and I decide, okay, I'll be focusing explicitly on this chunk of time, and then I will give time to this, and then so basically I put time blocks, and I try to not do a lot of context switching, so that if I get an email or if I get some kind of disturbance while I'm doing the task at hand, I try very hard to just focus on the task at hand and to get it done before I go into something else. And also it's super important when you start working to, I don't know, like at what stage you are now, but what really helps me is, I don't know if you've heard about the OKR methodology. It's like an objective key result methodology. It's a process that startups usually use in order to make sure that they stay focused on the most important goals they need to achieve first. So it starts by like deciding, okay, what are the most important things for our startup? What is our North Star? How do we know that we're successful? And thinking about, okay, so what are the 3 key objectives that we need to reach? We would like to have 10 new users by the end of the month. Okay, we would like to have 3 prototype tests by the end of the month. We would like to get 90% positive feedback after we do those tests. And if you make sure that you're always focusing on these goals the most of the time, and you don't get sidetracked by, oh, somebody's asking about this and somebody's asking about that, and I have to reply to that email, and then we have if you make sure that you focus on the goals you set, that you know that are the most important for your startup, it's going to be easier to manage and prioritize what's most important first. Because obviously you'll never have time. There's always a list of 100 things to do, but you have to just kind of prioritize and see what's most important to do first and what gives you the most value with the least amount of effort. So yeah, I hope that answers your question in a non-vague way.
Is your work time fun?
My work time?
Yeah.
Well, my startup work time is really fun because I get to do fun stuff that are exciting. My consultancy job, it's a bit less fun because it's just being a consultant and working as a programmer for like big projects and stuff. And I think having a normal job helps with learning about time management, how to be like professionally competent, and how to talk to people, how to talk to clients, how to explain things, how to technically implement things. It teaches you a lot about what good process means, what good work ethics are, how to be have integrity in your work and deliver things in a really good way. And it gives you the chance to learn from a lot of people. But the really exciting stuff is working on the startup. And I'm having my job now, my full-time job. So I'm basically like a programmer that works on different websites. So I've been working for the Norwegian government's website. I've been working for UEFA, one of UEFA's websites, which is more like for training coaches, like entrenador de fútbol, basically, football coaches. And now I'm working for another website, which is just my day job. And I can't say it's super exciting, but I still learn a lot from it. But the startup is super exciting because you're basically creating something from scratch and you're innovating. So it is super exciting. And my goal is to quit my job this year, hopefully, so that I can go full time into my startup. Thanks for your question.
Great. Thank you very, very much. Are there any other questions about, okay, I see Carla has a question.
Yeah, so how did you join this Global Innovation Lab? What was the process? Were you like a volunteer, or how can we do that too?
Yes, I will share my screen for this. What I did is, okay, do you see my screen?
Not
No,
yet.
but I think you
Okay.
broke something here.
Screen.
Now
Yes,
it's
now I
coming.
see it. Yes,
Okay.
now I see it.
So
Thank you.
basically, it was pure luck that I joined this international thing. I heard about it from a friend. And it's called Unleash. What they do is they are from Denmark, and they are a non-profit organization where they basically give tools, frameworks, and knowledge to young people that want to become entrepreneurs, to start a startup, and to create startups that are made for reaching the Sustainable Development Goals, basically to help either education, poverty, climate action, any one of the goals. And once a year, they do these international boot camps for entrepreneurship, where you're basically pretending to create a startup. And they bring 1,000 people in that place. Then they divide them in teams and in tracks. For example, when I was in Unleash in India, I was working on good health and well-being with focus on non-communicable diseases. So we were trying to make a solution for diabetes patients. So it was not related to my startup at all, but it gave me like a good feeling of like, what is it like to be in a startup? I was on a team with international people, a team of 5, and we had 7 days to basically figure out a problem we wanted to solve, and how we want to solve it, and prototype it and sell it to the judges and pitch. So this year, I think they did it. Last year, they did it in Amazon. They had like a regional lab, and I think they did it in Brazil. Before that, they were doing it in let's see, in Rwanda. That's where I was with my startup, because they have two kind of programs. They have a program for startups, and they have a program for people that are just young and they are passionate about creating projects for the Sustainable Development Goals. So then they have 2 tracks. The ones that like are for people that already have an idea and a team and a project, and the ones for people that don't know anything and they're complete newbies and they're starting from scratch and they want to learn about entrepreneurship. And then the one before that was in India, and the one before that was in Greenland. So like, but it's always the same process. They bring a lot of diverse heads in the same place and they try to solve problems. So you should really follow them on Instagram. Every year they post before they have applications for their programs. They either have hackathons, which are regional, and they're sometimes in Europe, or they have global innovation labs, which are in person, and they're at some cool place somewhere in the world. Every year it's a different location. And you can also sign up to their newsletter. I think it's, here on the bottom of the page, so that you get an email whenever they're opening applications for their programs. So I can actually like send you the link to this.
I found it. I found it. Thank you.
Yeah, I usually Instagram, because they're like super active there, and they post.
Okay.
Whenever there's.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, so that's how I started, and then I really liked the whole concept, and I offered to volunteer for them, and I became an ambassador for them. So sometimes in my free time, I help them with stuff like planning workshops or creating different materials, or
And you contacted them? You contacted them, or it was a forum and you just completed the forum?
Yeah, it was a forum, and I filled out the application and wrote a bit about myself and why I want to join that program. Then I got to be there. Then they selected me. I got to go to the lab, and once I went to the lab, I applied for the next stage, which was my startup through Unleash Plus, which was like the more advanced kind of league where they give you tailored advice for your startup. And then I was in contact because I was like part of the whole community then, because once you join one lab, you become a member of the community, and then you can talk to facilitators there, ambassadors, volunteers, program managers, and you can find ways in which you can help them. And yeah, it's a really great way to start. So
thank you very much.
No problem. I will try to send the link to it, but it says they're having trouble loading my chat. So I'll send it to Robert, and then he can send it to you guys.
Yes, send it to me, and we will also can send it into the support WhatsApp group.
Cool.
I see. Is there another question from Clara, or is your hand raised from the first question?
Yeah, I have another question.
Oh, great. Okay.
This one is for Christian. You mentioned, or it was Constantine, I think. I'm not sure. Someone mentioned being like a pink cow and standing out in the crowd. And I was wondering, in an oversaturated market, what makes a product or a business stand out? Like, what is an essential feature, or what do you have to bring to the table in order to stand out when so many ideas have already been done and everything feels like it's just repeating itself?
I mentioned the idea of being the pink cow in the farm full of cows. So your question is great. And this leads to a little to the part of innovation, to the part of market research. So you need to, maybe if you want to be the pink cow, you need to know your market well. You need to know the other cows from the farm. How are they looking? What are they using? And if you want to be different, you have to do something different. What exactly are you going to do different? I don't know. It depends. Maybe you have a faster application. Maybe you have a more complex application. Maybe you have a more simpler application, because different doesn't mean always simpler. Sometimes it's more complex. Sometimes you have multiple features. Sometimes even lack of the feature is a differentiator. I think it's important to identify your target customers and talk with them, like Debbie talked with 25 teachers. Those were her target customers. It's important to find them, to talk with them, get their feedback. Maybe not everyone will have good feedback. You will have good feedback. Sometimes you will have bad feedback. What does it mean, bad feedback? Maybe something which you cannot apply. The feedback is not mandatory to be implemented. So you just take the feedback, don't defend your position, but analyze the feedback and take what is best for you. Besides knowing the target customer, you also need to know your competition, because if you don't know your competition, you cannot be pink when everybody is white and black. I think Christy wants to say something.
Yeah, I am enthusiastic about what happened this evening here. And the first many questions addressed to Debbie showed to me that I'm not the only one who thinks she had an amazing experience. And if you want to make something to add something to this world, to this nice world, to add something from your soul, first, you need to believe that you have a unique music that's inside you. Every one of us has. If we put our soul into that, what we are doing, something nice will happen. This we must be sure. It doesn't matter if we're professors or medics or entrepreneurs. So you think there is so much that is done. Yes, but maybe you understand the needs of the ones you want to address better, and you do something unique. You do something that comes from your preoccupation with this, from your discussions with many people about this. So I think it converges. And what you said also inspired me to, I will share my screen to tell you about a small step that might be good for you or not. You need to decide. In starting with 22nd of March, in 3 Saturdays, you can also take part in this business tech simulation. The young people do teams of 4, 5, or 6 people. It doesn't matter the size of the team. You are a company, and you can see how you manage a company in competition with the other companies. And they are also in your age. So if anybody is interested in this, I can send you this description. It's a 1-pager. And if you think it's nice, it would be worth to spend 3 Saturdays, 4 hours in that Saturday from 10 to 2 p.m. You could also experience a bit how would it be for me to be in such a company. But this is a simulation, of course. It's not a real experience like that what you can experience once you finish school and you go in such a camp like Debbie was. I think this is a full immersion, but till then you are still in school, so you are a bit maybe blocked in a place to finish the school that you began. This could also be an option. I think if Robert can spread that 1-pager, I could send it to him. So you have access, and whoever feels after this wonderful event, the whole event, the Hardcore Entrepreneur, can also join for free. So it's not a business that I do there. It's only an awareness of working in this field. And it's a small step. It's not the key step like these wonderful camps were. I think if you like small steps, then go deep into a big thing like Debbie was, and I'm sure it will change your life. We can see in Debbie's story that her life was changed, and I cannot imagine that the life of the other 1,000 people who were in such a camp was not changed by that. It's amazing, really amazing. And I'm very happy that I see such interesting dialogues and discussions and questions. Super.
Thank you so much. I'll look into that simulation as well. I find it really interesting.
Robert, can I give it somehow
yes,
to you at some point?
Send it on the WhatsApp group that we have, and I will forward it to the main support group with all the other resources that are going to be shared tonight. I see that.
Thank you. I'll do that.
That Constantin has something to add.
I wanted to add something because it sparkled in my mind during these answers. So Clara's question had a little of a mindset which show us, I think, one of the problems that we generally have in Romania. She said something like how we can build a different product when there are so many products in the world, and this is true. There are so many products in the world, and I try to answer that question. But now I'm going back to the mindset and to come up with a personal story. It's not about a startup, but it's about doing something in a world full of something else. In the case of the question was the world is full of applications. How can I do it different? Or where is my space in this world? My story is about the world of patents and inventions at the world level. This is a a topic which where I work in my research department, we are encouraged to find new ideas which nobody has previously in the world. But this is very difficult. It's how do I find the idea which nobody had in the world when there are literally hundreds of millions of patents active, and you cannot have one new idea which can be patented if it has already been patented by someone else. And 3-4 years ago, my mindset was exactly the same. Where is my place in this? How can I do that when I go to patents.google.com and I search, and there are hundreds of millions of active patents? And 2-3 years later, being coached and having some mentors which were previously involved in this endeavor, let's say, I got to the point where I had some new ideas which are unique in the world, and which for which the company invested a lot of money to have these filed at the US with the US patent office. It's not cheap, and it's difficult to find something and to innovate something which nobody has thinking before, but it is possible, and it is possible here in Romania with us. So don't despair and change your mindset. And a good entrepreneur should say, okay, we do have thousands of applications. I will do something better. I will find my niche at which nobody has thought before. So, like I said, Star Trek fans, let's go where no one has gone before.
Thank you so much for your answer. That was really helpful.
Okay. I'm really glad that we had a lot of questions. I think the hands that are still raised are maybe there because of the first time they were raised, or are there any more stuff you want to add, Clara? Or
No, from me, yeah, that was it.
oh, okay, great. Oh, maybe we can have one more question if there is one. We are already a bit on extra time, but I'm really glad that there were a lot of questions and that you guys were really impressed by the speakers. I'm really happy about this personally, actually. Yeah, any more questions? Okay, if not, I would like to thank our speakers again, and really we appreciate them for just giving so much of their time to prepare for this, and also just to speak with us and answer all your questions. And I think if you will have any more questions after this session is over, you can send them on the support WhatsApp group specifically for the speakers, and I will forward them to our speakers, and maybe they will answer when they have some time. So if you did not have the time or the energy or the disposition to ask a question right now, if you remember the question, you can ask it later, and I will make sure that your question will get answered by the specific person that you asked. Okay, Debbie, you want to say something more?
Yeah, just one thing. Like, if you guys have any questions, feel free to reach out to me. Like, I'm on all the social medias. You have my name, or on I think Robert has my email as well. Feel free to reach out if you need any help with any of the programs I mentioned, or if you need advice with stuff. I remember how useful it was for me to have a mentor when I was in the beginning, and to have like a hardcore female entrepreneur believe in my dreams. So if I can offer that to any of you, I'm more than happy to do that.
the hardcore word is really important.
Oh yeah, the hardcore word. It wasn't even on purpose.
Nice, nice.
Pun intended, I guess.
Yep, yep. Okay, well, okay, I guess we have like one more short question, maybe. Maybe
Yes.
the
So
last
from the
one.
beginning, I asked.
Oh,
if
of
we
course.
can- yeah, if we
Yes, your
can
question was about the web apps, and I
Yeah.
will answer this question myself. It will be recommended to have a native app. You will not have points deducted if you do not have a native app, but it is recommended to have a native app, not a web app, adapted for mobile. Yeah, so try to use all the resources that are available, either from the last years or from the courses that I presented yesterday, or just from the workshops that will be available for you in the next few days. And try as much as possible to go to a native mobile app.
Yep. Okay. Thanks.
Thank you. Okay. Then I guess this is it for tonight. Thank you to our speakers. Thank you for the all the guys and the girls that have been in the background filming and doing all the techie necessary stuff, so everybody can enjoy this workshop even after it was live. So have a great evening, guys. Bye bye.
Bye.
Bye.